Ethan, Lou, The Morning Show, I-95.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Dave joining the show now. It can't get more exciting than this. She sold over 50 million albums worldwide, and that's probably shorting it a bit. You know the song Strong Enough, If It Makes You Happy, Soak Up the Sun. You know the names. We're talking to Sheryl Crow. Hey, Sheryl.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Oh, we're doing great. Listen, I want to apologize right up front. I hounded your people like crazy.
It was his life's mission over the past month, Sheryl.
I think they're all afraid of me. I think I'm raising kids now, so like, should we bother her or should we not bother her?
I'll tell you this. They don't need us, and you don't need us, but they were so kind to me. Oh, unbelievable. So you're with the right people.
Okay, good. Thank you. That's good to know.
This new album, we got the advance copy. We felt so special with the advance copy. We listened to all the tracks, and I'm hearing a theme. I want to hear you tell us about Evolution dropping March 29th.
Well, I'll tell you about the song, and then I'll tell you about the whole project. Well, actually, let me tell you about the project first. The whole project, after I said I was never making another album, it's strange. I had a whole bunch of songs I wrote in the matter of a month, and I didn't want to produce them. I'm like, I don't want to do the same thing I've always done. I want my mind to be totally blown. So I called this friend of mine who's an unbelievable producer, worked with Dr. Dre and Eminem very early days, has produced, Carrie Underwood. I've known him for 25 years, too. Mike Elizondo, stand-up guy, unbelievable musician. And I sent him this little baggie of songs, basically, and said, do you like these? And if so, would you produce them? And that's what happened. And the production is, it's mind-blowing. I love it so much. But the thing started off with the song Evolution. And the song is about AI. It's about, where are we going with this? What's it going to mean, especially to artists? And especially to our kids, they're going to grow up with this thing that's going to be feeding them all kinds of information. Who knows, what it's going to be like. So that's where it started, and I wound up with an album after I said I wasn't going to do one.
Here I was thinking that this was like an introspective, like you singing about you. This is what my wife tells me. I don't know what the hell women are saying.
That's funny. Okay, well, I don't know what that says about you, Lou, but I believe in you. There, I said it.
Thank you.
You have Sheryl Crow's vouch right there.
I love alarm clock. It's like, hey, maybe I'll get up, maybe I won't, but I don't like it.
I don't know how. Listen, that song should be written for radio people because you guys get up at 3:45. For me, I get up at 6 in the morning to get my kids out the door, and I'm going to be honest with you. I used to be a rock star. 6 o'clock was like when you went to bed. But now I'm up at 6, getting my kids out the door, and I hate my alarm clock. So I had to write a song about it.
What's that like doing the mommy thing? That's such a stark contrast.
Oh, my God. I love it. It's just the best. It's the best gig I've ever had. I'm lucky. I got a whole lifetime crammed in before my kids came into my life. And so, they just make everything, all my decision making, they make it easy. I just revolve around them. And they're good boys. They're teenagers now. So I feel like almost everything I say, I get the look of, you're an idiot, Mom. But, that's part of it.
Sheryl, when I was talking with my wife last night, we were talking about, obviously, the performances. You've performed on every stage in the world. And the two events that I see every year that I make appointment television is the Kennedy Center Awards and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony. Your experiences at those events, could you talk about that? What it's like to be around that level of peers?
Honestly, those are the moments that are really hard to process. Like for me, a few years ago, I got to hang out with Merle Haggard, who's no longer here. I got to share the stage with, obviously, one of my biggest heroes, Willie Nelson. I got to sing with Chris Christopherson, all these people that I have loved at the Kennedy Center Honors, which I have loved. I've loved watching those shows and the way they've curated them, and so many fantastic people have been on. But I tell you, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing was mind-blowing. It just, my whole family was there, except for my parents, who were watching it at the movie theater in my little town. And all the people that have worked with me started out with me, 35 years ago. So, and then, of course, singing with Stevie and Peter Frampton and Olivia Rodrigo and being inducted by Laura Dern. And then in the 11th hour, being asked to sing with my hero, Willie Nelson. It just was an unbelievable night. I'm still floating. It was just incredible.
As a viewer, it's just incredible to see these things and to see the presentation and the induction speeches themselves are so inspiring. As an inductee now, what is your opinion on the breadth of scope of inductees being inducted alongside you?
Well, it's interesting. For me, first and foremost, I still feel like I'm that kid from a town that had 3 stoplights, so the fact that I'm now in a club with the Rolling Stones and the Beatles and Fleetwood Mac, and it's mind-blowing. I think now we're seeing that they're really making the effort to sort of make sure that we incorporate more women along the way. They're bringing in people, I think, that are they feel have influenced the music industry or inspired other young artists. But listen, the fact that my name is in there with, the greatest artists that ever were, the people that actually wrote the book on rock and roll is really, it's really humbling.
We're talking to Sheryl Crow right now. And last night I took my daughter to dance class, and I bring her in the class, and then I go sit out in the car. And I thought, well, we got Sheryl on. We got Sheryl on tomorrow. I better listen to catch up on the music that I love so much. I hadn't listened to Strong Enough in probably over a decade. I put it on, and within 40 seconds, I was bawling, crying, and texting Dave, why am I crying? And
I love you. You're so sensitive.
And it occurred to me, the lyrics, the passion in your voice is obvious, but the lyrics lie to me. I promise, I believe, please don't leave. Every human being on planet Earth has felt that at one time or another.
I will say, as I've gotten older, the power of music and the fact that, I was a kid that sort of was a little bit of an outsider. Music was like that thing that I felt like every time I heard a song that felt like it was written for me, it just elevated me. And I still believe that. I believe that music is a physical experience and it includes all of us. And it's one of the things I go, okay, where are we going to go with this AI thing? The beautiful thing about art and about music is the human spirit is in it, right? So that is one thing, obviously, and I talk about it in the song. The one thing that AI can't ever do is have empathy or compassion or feel hurt. And that's where we grow. That's where we expand. And being able to be a songwriter and write about these things has been the greatest gift. So when I hear somebody say, oh, that song really meant so much to me, that's the whole thing. That's bigger than any award.
It sounds good when you hear it after the fact. You hear lyrics like that. You go, oh, that's simple. You just apply universal themes. But it's the hardest thing in the world to nail it, to get it just right. And you've done it time and time again.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much. I think really the major thing for me is that when I go in and write music, it's for me. And when I put it out, I always feel like no one's ever going to hear this. And I'm always amazed. And that's been one of the beautiful sort of threads throughout my entire career. I come in and I write songs about me, for me, and the reality is that everybody has the same emotions and experiences, the same feelings. It just is dressed up in different scenarios. So, I love it. I love my job.
Sheryl Crow joining the show right now. Is there a song in your songbook that was written from a place of devastation or heartbreak?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. There's several of those. I would say probably, I think the Globe Sessions, that record was filled with a lot of anguish and a lot of heartbreak. I was newly out of a relationship. So songs like My Favorite Mistake, even though that song is a straight up pop song, there's a lot of sadness in it, even though it's sort of positive. We all have relationships where we go, man, it didn't work out, but I did love that relationship, or I did love that person. I still love them, but it's not, we're not going to be together. That song is a song on that record called River Wide that is also very, a very emotional song still for me. I mean, when I sing it, I feel all the things I felt when I wrote it.
Did you have difficulty performing the songs like soon after?
I didn't. River Wide was tricky, so was the Difficult Kind. I don't know. Difficult Kind was on the next record. That's very similar as well. But my favorite mistake, no. I mean, I love playing that song. And Wendy Melvoin played the guitar on it. And it's one of those songs that plays itself. It's my favorite song of all the songs I've written.
My wife, in the thing, could you tell Sheryl something? Your duet of the Difficult Kind with Shelby Lynn makes her cry every time that she watches that.
Oh, I love that. Oh my goodness, that was from was it from the Grammys?
I want to say it was.
I think it was. Yes, I love Shelby. She is so special. And, she's a person that has had heartache in her life. And so when she sings something like that, man, you feel it deep.
Could you tell us about the Nashville artistic scene?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I am sort of a little bit out of that world. I made a country record which really didn't get played, and I didn't belong at country, even though my music is heavily inspired by country, songs like Strong Enough and songs like If It Makes You Happy. I mean, all the way through my catalog. But really country music from like Flying Burrito Brothers and the Rolling Stones and that kind of thing. I could not tell you what's getting played at country radio with the exception of Luke Combs right now from Adam. I mean, I don't typically listen to country music. A lot of it feels to me, well, it's not my bag. I mean, I know there's great stuff being written and stuff, but there is a great music scene outside of country music as well, and an unbelievable community of the most wonderful musicians. I mean, and also, I mean, we've got obviously Kings of Leon here. We've got Jack White here. I mean, there's so many wonderful artists outside of the country scene as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sheryl Crow, I wanted to thank by name a few people that made this interview happen. Scott Borchetta, the CEO of Big Machine Records, Ellen, Pam, Heather, Allison, for hooking us up with you and getting connect. We're such big fans that it was a really big deal to us, and I know our audience is going to love it.
Oh, thank you. I mean, honestly, I should have just given y'all my phone number. Y'all could just call me up.
Oh, please.
Oh, Sheryl, we can always take your phone number.
We can take your phone number.
We're lonely in Connecticut.
That's a whole lot of people to get me on the phone.
We're going to make every one of the listeners go buy the album Evolution when it comes out on March 29th. And, of course, when the album drops, we're going to play your song. And just thank you so much for everything that you do.
Thanks, you guys. I really appreciate it.
Have a great day.
See you at some point. All right. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Lou.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
If you want to give us that phone number now,
we'll take the phone number. She got out of here so quick. Oh, my God, man. She screwed so quick after that.
I love that that's how it ended.
Hit us on Instagram. Follow the I-95 Morning Show at I-95 Rock.
Ethan, Dave, New York Times bestseller, Emmy winner, Grammy winner, lung cancer survivor. You've seen her on Suddenly Susan, Seinfeld, Curb Your Enthusiasm. We're talking to comedian Kathy Griffin.
What haven't you done?
Oh, you didn't mention Kathy Griffin, My Life on the D-List, my multi-Emmy award-winning series.
Look at you, Kathy. Wow, prolific as an MFer.
And now I am back on tour after 6 long years of the biggest cancellation in show business history. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't wait to hit that stage.
I don't know how you do it as an entertainer, as somebody, we talk to so many comedians and they all say this is their form of therapy. This is how they have to get these jokes out of their system. You got to be pent up, built up. You're going to explode out there.
I am pent up. It's like I haven't gotten laid in 6 years. It's going to be explosive. It's going to be dirty. It's going to be messy.
Yeah.
It's going to be improvisational. The last show that I did this is actually my first tour in 6 years, but I did do 2 shows in Vegas, which was great, and they sold out. I was thrilled. And then I did 2 shows on a gay cruise. So I am prepared for anything.
I want to check out one of them gay cruises.
Oh, no. My dream is to do a special on a gay cruise because it's honestly should be a bucket list, even if you're straight, because let me tell you something. These boys, you might you might think you party, okay? You might think you're so bad. Oh, I'm so naughty. No. Gays on a ship? Forget it. Theme parties called Guns and Hoses. There's like Breaking Bad theme parties because they all want to be Walter White. I mean, it's fantastic.
Wow, we're learning a lot here. She's got the new stand-up tour, My Life on the PTSD List, coming to the Bushnell in Hartford, February 16th. Kathy, I am a redhead like you. Did you know that we are the last human beings on Earth that you can openly ridicule to their face and in public?
Thank you for finally sticking up for gingers.
Right.
Because, and let me tell you, that South Park episode didn't freaking help because they're also ginger haters. But we are special people and we are sensitive people and we stand out in a crowd. And who does your roots?
I just leave him, I guess.
He's natural. Yeah, he's natural right now.
It hardened me, you know. I don't know about you, but we just got picked on. So I was like, all right, I'm going to be funny. I'm going to pick on everybody else before they can get me.
Hello, you just told my story. 100%. Being the redhead in a Catholic school, not fun. Those girls would jump me, and I mean, the nuns would just watch. The nuns would be like doing their nails, like, yeah, this will be over in about 20 minutes. I'm like, hello, Sister Mary Bertriel. Hello, please help me. But yes, it made me the hardened, embittered, yet soft-hearted, 1.5-lunged comedian I am today. You know, I only have half a freaking lung on my left side.
Wow. Well, we heard a little bit about this. You tell us, I mean, lung cancer survivor, that's a big, big deal. Tell us about the situation.
Okay, so I go in for an x-ray of like my abdomen or whatever, and then they see a tumor, and I had freaking lung cancer even though I've never smoked. And then the doctor goes, well, do you think you were exposed to radon or something when you were a kid? I go, I'm 63. I was exposed to everything. Are you kidding? My mother used to call us when the pesticide truck was going through the neighborhood and go, kids, it's here. And we would run behind pesticides yelling, I'm dancing in a cloud. I'm dancing in a cloud.
Oh, that does explain it.
That is twist. Now, I'm not saying my mother wasn't a little drunk when she did that.
Sure.
But, it was a different time, darling. It was a different time. And I don't know about you, but I could mix a drink when I was 7 years old. And my parents had the packet of powder, and I would make an old-fashioned or a Manhattan when my parents came home from work.
It explains a lot. Yeah.
They trained me. They trained me as a bartender at 7 years old. And I'm tainted because of it, but it's why I'm so darn funny.
We're glad you're okay, I'll tell you that much.
Kathy,
thanks. I appreciate it.
Kathy, you've been through so many decades of comedy, and we've seen the business change so much, obviously, in the past 5 years. You have lived out loud and been outspoken your entire time through your decades. Do you feel like this is finally the time where this is where you could truly be yourself?
I do. You know what's funny? I don't even know what I'm going to say on stage until I hit that stage. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's just the way I work. So I write stuff in my head all the time. And if I think of something funny in the middle of the night, I'll write it down. I'm one of those. And I have an old-fashioned notebook that I've been using since the 90s. My process is so, antiquated, but it works. And I don't want to push my luck, but I think at this point, I was canceled so hard, I actually don't think I can be canceled again. My cancellation, when they throw in the no-fly list on your cancellation, then you kind of build up an armor. And now I just have this freedom of, everything that would be the worst thing that happened to a comic happened to me. And yet, somehow, I'm doing a 40-city tour. So I feel like I survived all this stuff, including the cancer, and that's why I call this show My Life on the PTSD List. I'm just there to tell my potty mouth jokes, and there will be profanity like you've never heard in your life.
Comedian Kathy Griffin joining the Ethan Lou and Large Dave show. I think that Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm, if you're on both of them, that is the ultimate recognition of your talent as a comedian, and you have been on both. What did that feel like?
I think those guys are so amazing. And on Seinfeld, and you know what, both of those, they wrote the part for me, which was amazing. So I was on Seinfeld one time. I then became more well-known, got on a TV show. I then made fun of Jerry in my first HBO special. He then wrote an episode of Seinfeld where my character comes back, becomes a comedian who just makes fun of Jerry. And then I got to go and be on Seinfeld the week he announced he was quitting.
As Sally Weaver.
He was on the cover of Time magazine. And then on Curb Your Enthusiasm, I just love Larry David. He's such a natural, funny, ridiculous person. And I got to be on like episode 1 of Curb, and that was an honor just to be around there because it was such a funny like set to be on. So I've lived life, boys. I've lived life to the fullest, and I'm telling my stories.
Yeah, you're the great Sally Weaver. But that's what I mean.
Sally Weaver.
It's like you've been.
No, I love it.
It's like you were knighted. Like the fact that they wrote that for you. What a compliment.
What a compliment. And I remember I was on a show called Suddenly Susan with Brooke Shields, and at first they weren't going to give me the week off to go do Seinfeld. And I remember having to beg them, being like, no, I'll cross-promote it. I'll promote Suddenly Susan and Seinfeld at the same time. NBC Thursday night. Like, that was such a huge deal. And so I was so thrilled I was able to do it.
We're so excited to have you. Kathy Griffin coming to the Bushnell. This is Hartford, Connecticut. February 16th, and you have been through the ringer. I wonder, people forget celebrities are people, and sometimes even, we do that on this show. It's just easy to do. Do you find that people just disconnect with the fact that you're a human being? Do you get weird questions?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the thing is, between my life on the D-list or my talk show or my specials, I've done 21 televised stand-up comedy specials.
Wow.
21. So people really know my life. And the good thing is when people come to see me, they know it's an evening with, I don't have an opener, it's just me. They know they're going to get new stuff. It doesn't matter if you've seen me 10 times before. I'm always doing new stuff. And they know the show's going to be kind of like improvisational up and down. And I love trying stuff out. I love doing local material. I never get sick of it. But, when people say, I feel like I know you, they do. And like my life on the D-list, that show was really real. I don't even know if I could do that show today because there were no scripts. There were no writers. It was just them following me around, hoping I did funny stuff for 6 months. But when people come up to me and just say, oh, I feel like I know you, or I miss your mom, tell your mom is in heaven having a box of wine, I love that.
Yeah.
It's like, that was real. And so I've always put it out there. And can I brag for 1 second because I just heard this?
Please.
All right. This is just a really obnoxious brag. But Chris Rock said, I am the only comedian who's changed. No, he said, Kathy Griffin changed stand-up comedy more than any other comedian in the last 25 years. Because before her, nobody ever talked about like their celebrity run-ins. And now he said everybody does it. And I think Rock is just one of the greats. Yes. And I take that as such a compliment because that's the only thing I know how to do. I tell these stories. They're not typical jokes. But I tell about, anything from like the guy I slept with from NSYNC to the guy I slept with last night. It's all on the table. It's all fair game.
Wait, maybe I missed something here. Did you actually sleep with somebody from NSYNC?
Don't say anything bad about Joey. We're still friends.
Oh, my God. I love this. We kind of do.
I've been around. Look, do I use my fame to be more of a slut? You're damn right I do. You're damn right I do. Every damn day.
The stand-up tour is called My Life on the PTSD List, and she's coming to the Belding Theater at the Bushnell PAC in Hartford, Connecticut on February 16th. Where can people get tickets and all that stuff?
Yeah, they go to the Belding Theater.
The Belding Theater.
Yeah.
Okay.
KathyGriffin.com.
Kathy Griffin, you are one of the greats.
Oh, you guys are so nice to me. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Come to the East Coast. We will open the door. You can stay here and talk with us all morning, anytime you want.
Sleep on the floor if you'd like.
Yeah.
I hope you mean it. I hope you mean it because I'm going to do it.
We sure do.
Thank you again, Kathy.
All right.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thanks, you guys.
Joining the show now, an entertainment legend. He's been performing since he's 15 years old. He's taken every stage in America, and he's about to take the stage for the final time in his career right here in Connecticut. It's Tony Orlando. Hey, Tony.
Hi, how are you doing? And by the way, I love the state of Connecticut. I started in Hartford at Bushnell Memorial Auditorium. That was 1961.
Bushnell was your first concert ever, Tony?
Yeah, it was I'll tell you what it was. I don't know if you're old enough to remember a show Bud Collier called Beat the Clock. It's like, you have to be old to remember it. I was 16 and he was hosting, believe it or not, a benefit for a leper colony in Burma. I know it sounds insane, but everybody on that show was a superstar. In fact, if you go back to old show business, the big star on that show at Bushnell was Ethel Merman. and Tony Randall and all these great, and Robert Goulet and Carol Lawrence and all these people. And this was Tony, 16 years old, coming out to I think it was a 35-piece orchestra in that pit, doing my first record written by Carole King called Halfway to Paradise.
Oh.
And I walked out and I looked to my right, and there are all these incredible, super gigantic stars giving me the okay sign to help me through because I was such a nervous wreck. And yes, it was maybe the second performance I'd ever done in my whole life.
You are an incredible entertainer, Tony, and you mentioned briefly in the intro there the amount of celebrities that you had and you cut your bones with in all these years. You played Las Vegas for over 50 years. This is your 62nd year overall as a performer and your 65th performance at Mohegan Sun. That's incredible.
Yeah, it is incredible. And believe it or not, I'm looking at this retirement. When I say retirement, I'm retiring from, going on the road and doing concerts. It's like I told my wife, Franny, I can still hit the ball. Don't get me wrong. I just can't run the bases. And what are the bases? The bases is traveling, getting on that plane, sitting through 5-hour delays. Then they cancel you. Then the overhead of taking 7 to 8 musicians on the road is exorbitant. And hotel rooms and all that stuff that goes with it. It's just impossible. It's impossible to do. And so I've decided, and I saw Kenny Loggins retired. I saw Bill Medley is retired. I saw the Oak Ridge Boys are retired. I see Elton John is retired. I said, you know what? Maybe it's time for those younger people to take the stage.
Now, over 60 years of performing, when you see this date on paper, March 22nd, your final concert performance, what does it make you feel? You've nurtured this legacy. This has been your life. What are your feelings as that date gets closer?
Every day is Saturday. After you retire, every day becomes Saturday. Every day is a weekend. No, I tell you, it's bittersweet, actually. It's bittersweet. There's a part of me, it's going to sound kind of terrible. It's depressing, but it's almost like part of Tony Orlando passed away because I've been doing this since I'm 16 years old. It's almost like, wow, that guy, that kid that had this dream and walked this journey is going to be gone. And the worst part of it is the faces that I've looked at over the years, 64 years. The first one came out in 61, so it's 63 years, coming up on 64 years. And I look out and those faces, those wonderful people who have a smile on their face like your wife did at the cabaret, that is the hole in the heart. That's what you walk away going, oh man, those people were so good to me. How do I ever thank them at the end of this journey, this dream come true that started on a rooftop in Manhattan when I was only a kid? Yeah, that's the bitter part. The sweet part of it is I don't have to sit in an airport and hear some guy behind the counter say, sorry, folks, but we're delayed for 3 hours. Talk to the lady over at the gate changed now from gate 14 to gate 69. The plane has been canceled. Yes, the pilots are too tired to fly. Crew is not showing up. That's right. You're going to have to get your own hotel room and leave tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow, all the flights are booked. You can't get on tomorrow. Oh, I'm so sorry you missed your engagement.
I have to ask you, because one of my favorite movies, honest to God, of all time is That's My Boy. How did you get involved with Adam Sandler and Happy Madison?
Well, first of all, if you love that movie, that tells me you're one sick individual.
I am, sir.
He is very sick.
But the truth of the matter is, Adam Sandler is is one of the greatest human beings on this planet. They don't make him nicer. They don't make him more humble. They don't make him more caring or more talented. Adam Sandler is the only comedic actor that's ever earned $3 billion for Sony Films. It box of $3 billion, imagine. And he called me one day, and Adam is like a family friend to me. He called me one day out of the blue, and he said, hey, man, I want you to do this movie with me. And I said, what? He goes, yeah. I want you to play this character with me. I'll have wardrobe call you. I said, wait. Slow down, Adam.
That's crazy.
I don't want to just go in because you love me. I want to earn it. Right. I mean, what if I go in there and I stink? What happens if I suck? What then? You're going to be going, why did I call Tony? I don't want that to happen. Let me audition for it. He goes, Tony, dummy, you got the part. I said, no, I want to earn it, Adam. Okay, come to Happy Madison here in L.A. on this date, and we'll have a camera, and you'll do your audition. Thank you, Adam. Thanks for considering me. I love you for that. I go to the office. There's a camera. There's Adam. There's 3 or 4 guys in their suits from upstairs at Sony, probably the bosses, and the camera rolls, and I'm doing the scene that you know, if you saw the movie, called the What's Up scene. What's up? So I do the scene. I finish it. I thought I did real well, and there's dead silence. And Adam, with a very sullen face, looks at me and goes, thank you, Tony. I said, okay. Okay. You're welcome. Thank you, Tony. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I'll let you know. Got it. You'll let me know. And I walked out. I called my wife, Franny, and I said, Franny, what a jerk I am. I just embarrassed Adam. I didn't get this part. I could tell he was so sick. He was so down because I stunk. And oh, my God, I didn't get the part. 2 months later, I don't hear from Adam at all. I'm afraid to call him. And since he didn't call me, I'm saying to Franny, why didn't I listen to him? The phone rings. Tony Orlando? Yes. This is Wardrobe from That's My Boy. What size do you take for your pants and your jacket for your character? And I got the part. But he waited 2 months to tell me. He made me suffer for 2 months to tell me. And when I said, Adam, how could you do that to me? He said, I had to teach you a lesson. You idiot. You had the part to begin with. You needed to suffer like that. Let me tell you, that was a fun movie. And here's the great thing about That's My Boy. So it was very successful after it was released. In terms of buying DVDs, it into the hundreds of millions of dollars. Young college boys, young guys love that movie. Military guys. Well, you know, I've had a pretty good run as an artist on records, right? But anybody under the age of 40 and under, they don't know who Tony Orlando is. They don't. They're just too young. They don't know. So I'm walking through the airport, and I see a guy spots me, more than likely a guy in the military, maybe in his early 20s, and he points his finger at me, and he goes, aha, I know who you are. I said, yeah, right. Yeah. I don't know your name, but what's up? All he knows, he doesn't know Yellow Ribbon. He doesn't know Knock 3 Times. He doesn't know Gypsy Rose. He doesn't know He Don't Love You. He doesn't know about Clive Davis. He doesn't know about anything, but he sure knows what's up, and that makes my day. So it all comes. My career came down to one word: "What's up?" And it is a great, funny movie. It really is.
Well, I guess that's better than saying we're going to get our
Well, let me tell you something. I don't know what radio station you're on, but you might have to cut that one out.
We could bleep. Yeah, we could definitely bleep. So swear away, Tony.
I'll tell you a story about that line. When I did the table read, I said to Adam, I said, you know, I'm the only guy in this movie that doesn't have a bad word, an F word or anything. And he goes, Tony boy, are you kidding me? I have too much respect. I would never do that to you. You know, I go to the first day on the set, and Adam says, Tony boy, say that line that you just said. Say that line. And I go, what was that? Say that line. I said, I thought you said I wasn't going to curse in the movie. He said, Tony, that's the whole point. If you say that line, you'll get the biggest laugh in this whole movie. Come on, try. I said to myself, I mean, I say those words. I'm a street boy. I got no problem. All right, do it. I did it. I said the line. Now comes opening night. My wife, Franny, my daughter, Jenny, and my mother. My mother says, I am going to the red carpet, right? And I said, Mom, you're not coming to this movie. And she goes, what? An Adam Sandler movie, and I'm not going to come see you in an Adam Sandler movie? I love Adam Sandler. I said, Mom, you don't understand. I say things in this movie I can't let you hear me say. Tony. She says, Tony, come on. Stop it. I've heard every word there is. I'm 80 years old. Stop it already. I'm going to see my son in that movie. So I thought to myself, oh, my God, how am I going to sit next to her when that line comes? And won't you say it?
Yeah, you want me to say it?
Yeah.
I'll say it. We're going to get our
Right, exactly. So now imagine that's my mom. We're going in the movie, and I called Adam. I said, Adam, please sit me and Franny away from my daughter and my mother. I don't want to sit with them. I get to the movie theater, and all 4 seats are together. I said, God almighty, Adam, for God's sake, look at this. We're sitting together, man. He goes, Tony, I forgot. I'm so sorry. We're sold out. And here comes that scene. I start to scrinch, and I lower myself in my seat. I get down way down low, and I hear myself say that line, and I hear my mother with the loudest laugh I've ever heard come out of her. In my whole, I never heard my mother laugh so hard. And I turned to her, and I said, Mom, you found that funny? She said, are you kidding? That's the funniest thing you've ever said.
Tony Orlando, you are the consummate professional and performer. We are excited for Friday, March 22nd, your final concert performance ever at Mohegan Sun Arena. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, I want to thank you. I want to thank your wife. I want to thank everybody who listens to you in Connecticut, the most amazing state on the planet. And I want to thank Mohegan Sun for making me family. Thank you guys as well. God bless you.
God bless.
Thank you very much, Tony. Take care, buddy.
Thank you.
Hey, Dave, joining the show now. This is exciting. He's been on the show a bunch of times and definitely doesn't remember us, and that's okay. I wouldn't either. He's coming to the Ridgefield Playhouse February 23rd. It's Jim Norton on the phone. Hey, Jim.
How you doing? And I do remember you guys very well.
Come on. It must have been the German pornography reference I made.
No, that would never do it, because there's a lot of German pornography references in my life, but I'm appreciating that you enjoy it.
We're really excited you're coming to Ridgefield. How many times have you done that room?
I honestly don't know if I've done this room yet. I'm not sure if I've done it at all. That shows you how old I'm getting. I don't remember if I've ever done this room. I just went my first time there.
Oh, okay. You're going to love it. The sound is great. The crowds are great. It's really, there's not a bad seat in the house, so I think you'll dig this one.
Well, there are bad seats in the house. The first couple of rows. The closer you are, the worse it is for you.
That's it.
I do think it's almost sold out. There's a few tickets left in the balcony, but this almost sold out. So I'm hoping that people just buy the remaining tickets. There's only a few left.
So I was checking out this article in Esquire magazine, and I guess what they did was they had you answer people, like giving them advice. They sent you a problem, and you answered it back. And this one person said that they suffer from depression and they don't know what to do with their life. And they say, I love comedy and writing jokes. What would be your advice for somebody who wants to do comedy for the first time? And you replied, realize that doing comedy is only going to make your depression worse. I found that hilarious. I got out of comedy because it made me too depressed.
Dude, it is crazy, right? People don't you love when people think that comics are happy all the Like, you don't have to be depressed to be a good comic, but the idea that people like, well, you're a comedian, you're supposed to be funny all the time. It's like you've never met a comedian. I mean, some comics are funny all the time, but most of us are just kind of like plowing through it until we go on stage, and then we go right back to our rotten little existences. So I don't remember that. When did I do that?
Let's see, this Esquire. It's a great article. This was 2015.
Oh, okay, yes, I really don't remember it. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually in a good place now in life. I'm married. I'm happy, and I can't believe I'm saying those two things in a row. But I'm like, usually you're married, you're miserable, but I'm enjoying life for the first time in a long, long time. So I hope I'm still funny on stage.
That's good. We're glad that you're happy. But it is like poignant. That was fair advice. Like if somebody struggles with that, it definitely. I was in an Albany hotel room. I thought I was going to blow my brains out. I'm like, this is it. I'm done. It was snowing 2 feet. I was watching a playoff game all by myself. It was the worst weekend of my life.
Well, that's the idea that people think, hey, man, this is how I'm going to lift my depression. Standing in a room with 15 people who are watching something else, trying to get them to laugh, and then being underpaid and not getting laid on the road. Like, people really think that's going to lift their depression. They're delusional. You got to get into comedy for other reasons. You have to realize that you like doing it, and that's it. And whatever happens with it, happens with it. But it's not going to make your mood a lot better.
Jim, it seems as though the state of comedy or the art of comedy has been under attack for the past 2 years, and it seems as though things have semi-died down on that kind of front. How do you see audiences as different now? Who have you, the faces that you've seen in your audiences, are they as angry as they have been for the past couple of years?
It's been happening a lot longer than 2 years. It's not even just comedy. It's everybody is attacking everybody. Everybody is using everybody else to pretend they're angry so they can get a little attention for themselves. But yeah, there's been a decent amount of pushback on it. But I think the difference now is that everybody in the audience is performing as well. It's like you have a guy on stage, and then people in the audience are performing, pretending they're upset, or they're going on social media pretending they're upset. It's died down a little, but that's the reason for it. Is everybody is their own corporation now. So people are like, hey, can I get some credibility by acting like I'm upset publicly? Will people come and give me some attention? It just seems like since everybody has got a voice, which is fine, everybody wants to let everybody else know how hurt they are. It's not just comedy, though. It's kind of everywhere it is being affected by it.
That's a brilliant point, sir.
And you know what? I am not okay with it. It used to be special to have a show. Now everyone's got a fucking show, and it doesn't mean anything.
It's true. It's true.
I know, man. It really is. Like, I got a podcast. Like, nobody cares what anybody is doing. It's almost like everybody is just standing in a line broadcasting to each other. It really is crazy. Everyone is broadcasting to left and right. You're not standing there talking to a group of people. It's like standing in a crowd just talking to the guy next to you. And some people rise above. Like we were just out in L.A. and we did like Tiger Belly. Like you get some podcasts like that blow through the roof and pass everybody. But there's 10,000 other ones that nobody ever hears of.
Right.
So, yeah, it is kind of frustrating. Everyone's doing it. It's hard to focus anyone's attention on any new project. Hey, you guys want to watch this? It's like, no, they're subscribed to 50 other things. They're doing 20 other things. No one cares what I'm doing. So I kind of have come to accept the fact that if I get more than 30 people in a room to watch me do something live, I'm happy.
Yeah, I have to remind myself that I'm getting paid for it, because all the other benefits are like, it doesn't mean anything anymore.
They've been monetized.
Yeah.
Everything's been monetized now. The freebies that we used to get 20 years ago, long gone.
Yeah, it really is. And again, I have nothing against everybody having a voice. I don't think I should be the only one that's allowed to talk. I shouldn't be the only one that's allowed to tell jokes publicly or whatever. But it just seems that people are constantly needing something to talk about. So, like, pretending they're offended or bothered by something is just one more thing that they can talk about to get a little credibility or get a little momentum going. I don't mind it if somebody was, but it's not new. It's at a crazy, epic. It's been ramped up so much. But I saw Dice last night. My wife and I went to. I saw Dice last week. We're airing this next week, right? So I saw Dice last week. My wife and I went to Carnegie Hall to see Andrew, and he was canceled in 1989.
Yeah.
People forget that Dice got canceled, and before him, Lenny Bruce got canceled. There's been so many guys that have gotten in trouble. So this is not some new phenomenon. All the generations before were tough and loved every filthy comic. Now it's just a little easier to get in trouble. But there's always been things that people came after you for. I mean, unfortunately, it's not new.
We had him on last summer, and the first words out of my mouth were boogaloogaloo, boogaloogaloo.
Oh, God. Yeah.
He went nuts.
Was that Whack Bag, the song Whack Bag?
Whack Bag, Whack Bag.
Whack Bag.
Well, that's the guys of our generation, though, Jim. I grew up on Richard Pryor, and I grew up on Rodney and George Carlin, and that brand of humor was set into my brains in the 70s and 80s, and it's still there. And now I find myself in many situations where should I laugh at this situation? And like you said, everything is being called into question now, it seemed.
Yeah, and don't forget, Pryor and Carlin got in trouble, too.
Yeah.
I mean, Carlin wanted to go to the Supreme Court, I think, or maybe he did go to the Supreme Court. He wanted to do the 7 dirty words.
Yeah, of course.
And Pryor almost got arrested on stage just for using dirty language. So those guys also had their own share of it. It's just now, when somebody got upset 50 years ago or 40 years ago, they would just tell someone, hey, that guy sucks. But now people will go out and tell 10,000 people, not only does that guy suck, but him saying that really triggered self-hatred in me, and I have body-shaming issues, and then they'll act like you're responsible for everything that's wrong in their rotten life. That's the problem, too. Everybody is blaming everybody else for what's wrong in their own life. I'm 55. I realize everything that's wrong in my life is my fault.
Correct.
It's no one's fault but mine.
Absolutely.
Stand-up comedian Jim Norton joining us. He's coming to the Ridgefield Playhouse February the 23rd. It's an 8 o'clock show. Just a few tickets left. Go to ridgefieldplayhouse.org for tickets and information. Dude, we appreciate you, and thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it, man. And I hope to see you there. And I actually am looking forward to this gig. It's the start of my tour. It's the first night of my tour. So thank you guys so much.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you very much, Jim.
All right. See you later.
There, buddy.
Dave, Ethan, this is exciting. We haven't done anything like this before. We've asked a celebrity to help us with a rock countdown. Joining the show now, he pitched in Major League Baseball for 16 years, most notably with the Boston Red Sox. We're joined by Bronson Arroyo.
Bronson.
What's up, man?
Morning, guys.
Thanks for doing this, man. Like, we know not only, first of all, let me just say this, because I was saying it to Dave the other day. We are both Yankee fans, and the most frustrating thing about you hating the Red Sox was you were such a cool dude. Like, walking into the Bronx with white dude with cornrows, and then lighting up the Yankee lineup, like the steel balls on you. It was so annoying that you were on that team.
Yeah, it was a situation that I came from Pittsburgh, being there I was already there parts of 7 or 8 years playing, bouncing up and down from AAA to the big leagues. But I was just seasoned enough to be able to handle that environment. I'm kind of a cool and calm guy by nature, but if that would have been my first couple of years in the big leagues, it would have been almost impossible to deal with just the adrenaline of a place like Yankee Stadium, not even including the playoffs, just regular season. But, I had been around long enough to weather that storm and kind of get my flow and feel like I could still compete on that level.
On the flip side, it had to be cool when you guys knew you were playing the Yankees in Fenway because your people must have had your back like crazy.
Yeah, those were intense games all the time. I remember I had childhood friends that were coming to the ballpark, like on the train in New York and just saying, like, I had my Red Sox hat on. I had to stuff it in my pants because I was going to get in a fight for sure, And when the Yankees would come to Fenway, it just, it felt like it was volatile all the time. And people will usually ask, did you really hate the Yankees as players? And it was like, no, not at all. But all the hoopla around the game, from the media to the fans, and seeing so many fights break out in the stands and stuff, it made you feel like you're in the middle of a war sometimes.
Wow. Now, we brought you on because we want to talk a little bit about music. You have an album called Some Might Say. Your band is Bronson Arroyo and the 04, and we know you've been a lifelong rock fan. So you're going to do the top 5 Bronson Arroyo songs?
Yeah, I think these are my, it's so hard to dwindle it down to 5 songs when I was thinking about this, but these are like what I would consider like true rock songs. It's like, I love the Lumineers, I love the Beatles, but, I don't think of that as real rock and roll. So, my list is a little heavy today, but that's what I think of when I think of pure rock and roll.
He's a purist, Ethan. He's a purist.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.